Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So, one important thing is we should know the purpose behind everything. Then we know why we have to do. So, if you don't know the purpose, no, then always we have this doubt why we are not doing Varnashrama, why we are not doing this. So, this all question comes again and again because of one very reason, because we are not knowing the purpose behind these things. So basically, it is to help us um, come to mode of goodness. Otherwise, now why people are so much stuck up is they are stuck up because of passion and ignorance. And all living entities, they are like humans. They are there. So every time in all the situations, this Varnashrama is developed by the Lord to help a living entity to be happy and enjoy in this world. The purpose should be clearly understood. And now, if you want to be happy, you have to follow Varnashrama. There's no doubt about it. But if you want something more in life, then we have to do more also. So, something beyond Varnashram Dharma to achieve something more higher and deeper in life. So, that is why this thing comes. And now, I want to achieve something higher. So, then uh, what is that I want to? So there is when Vyasdev he wrote Vedas. So there is this aspect called Purva Mimamsa. So Purva Mimamsa is what? Purva Mimamsa is how to live happily in this world. So it's all about what all the rituals you have to do, what all the activities you have to do, so that you can remain happy in this world. So he developed the system so nicely, and there are so this Purvamamsa Gemini he brought the conclusions also from the Shastras like that. But what happened is, uh, and so this was the when Brahma read Vedas for the first time, he got the same understanding. He also said, yes, this actually makes sense. The purpose of life is to enjoy only, and the way to enjoy is this is the way to enjoy to. Uh, Properly follow all the rituals and enjoy in this world. So that is the purpose of life, he thought. Then again, he read the second time. Then he understood, no, no, no. Purpose of life is to get out of this world. That is Uttar Mimamsa. That is Jnana part. Now, the problem is that now he understood, okay, we have to not uh, uh, just follow the rules and regulations, but the purpose is to uh, achieve liberation. But then he read the third time, then he understood, oh, it's not just liberation, it's actually more than liberation. There is something called prema. I have to cross beyond this liberation and achieve higher than that, that is prema, Vaikuntha. So now, even for to get into jnana also, we need to follow varnashrama properly, and even karma mimamsa also, they also follow properly. So in both cases, you follow these rules and regulations very properly. Why? On what happiness depends upon? Happiness depends upon our state of mind. That should be known. State of consciousness decides happiness. Like, what is the difference between higher planetary systems and us? Or how we say that they enjoy more? How they are enjoying more? What they are enjoying more? Because their senses are very strong. And how did they end up there? Because their consciousness is high. That's why they are in heavenly planets. When Lord created, sthanam means our sthanam basically means the position of a living entity in this metal world. And on what basis Lord has created this sthanam? On the basis of consciousness only. So they are metaphysical boundaries, they are called. So these metaphysical boundaries they created based on the consciousness of living entity. That means The happiness is proportionate to consciousness, whatever state of consciousness we are. What is the difference between the Vaikuntha living entity and us is they are in a higher consciousness and we are in a materialistic consciousness. They are in a spiritual consciousness. So it's all consciousness. So now, when it comes to people who are following this Varnashrama properly, what they are doing, they are basically improving their consciousness. For what? So that they can enjoy properly in this world and or go to the heaven and enjoy there. So that is the main purpose for them to follow all these rules and regulations. So we have to very clearly understand why we want to follow, to change our consciousness. If this is understood now, then we will know why we are following. If you don't know why we are following, you are saying, oh, I have to follow, I have to follow. But why? Because you want to change your consciousness. And what is the best way to change consciousness? Directly connect to Krishna. If we are directly connected to Krishna, that is the fastest way to change our consciousness. And then Varnashrama is a method, but more fast than Varnashrama method to change consciousness is bhakti. So when we are already doing bhakti, then why we have to be bothered about Varnashrama? If purpose is the same, purpose is to change consciousness. So uh, it is happening through bhakti only, na. So then why we have to go for Varnashrama? So that is the point. So the purpose is not clear. That's why we get all the doubt again and again. Why? So we have to be very clear about the purpose why we are doing it. Then things are very clear. So as long as we don't know we are not clear about the purpose, again and again we get the same doubt. Why? So you have to, it is just to change consciousness. You have to follow certain rules and regulations. And when it comes to responsibilities in families, we have to do everything so that it works. And what are the what is the main purpose behind the rituals? What is the main purpose behind the sacrifices? It is to change mind, first thing. Second is to uh, bring gratitude and respect. So that should always happen. So now when we are chanting, we are doing sacrifice. This is japa yajna. That means every day we are doing sacrifice. And cultivating gratitude, yes, we are accepting, we are cultivating gratitude. So the principles are anyway followed. So that means the purpose is accomplished. So why we have to again bother about it if purpose is accomplished? Say I like somebody they are they are having rice, they are eating rice separately, they are eating dal separately, they are eating sabji separately, and then they are having other things. But I make khichdi and I put rice, dal, sabji, and also some ghee and eat. Of course, I think Ekadasi today or tomorrow, whatever. So uh, now the purpose is served. I'm getting all the items which are needed for my health. So why should I again say, Arey, you didn't eat rice, you didn't eat dal, Arey, everything is there. I took khichdi. So I'm telling, if the purpose is solved, then we should not bother about why we are doing. If the purpose is to ultimately to make mind calm, to make mind focus, to develop gratitude, to please the Lord, achieve higher consciousness, then that is done. Why we need anything else? So bhakti is giving all the things properly. So why to again bother to do the same activity? So this is the because if you don't know the purpose, now you get the doubt again and again. So and every time we get the same question because we are not working on the purpose. We are only working on the rules. Oh, I have to follow this rule. I have to follow this rule. Arey, why you want to follow the rule? This is not very clear. That's why. Anyway, here also the same thing is told. Actually, I wanted to discuss, but here the same principle. The great sage Narada Muni continued, "O great personality, I have replied properly about all that you asked me. Now here another narration that is accepted by saintly persons in confidence." So here, uh, then Narada Muni starts. He starts with this only. Is, my dear king, so he is telling a analogy of a person who is a deer which which is attacked by a hunter from behind and a tiger from the front. So he's telling that how a person is so much passing his days and night, not seeing gradual diminution of life, nor does he care about the superintendent of death. So now this is the weakness of man. It is nothing to do with woman. And then he says, "My dear king, just try to understand the allegorical position of the deer. Be fully conscious of yourself and give up the pleasure of hearing about promotion to heavenly planets by fruitive activity. Give up household life, which is full of sex, as well as stories about such things, and take shelter of Supreme Lord through the mercy of liberated souls. In this way, please give up your attraction to for material existence." So this is what the advice Narada is giving. This is just get out. So, and Prabhupada gave a very nice purport for this. And now the king is telling that the king replied, "My dear Brahmana, whatever you have said, I have heard with great attention and considered all of it. I have come to the conclusion that the acharyas, teachers, who engaged me in fruitive activity did not know this confidential knowledge. If they were aware of it, why did they not explain it to me?" So this is his question. Array, why people cheated me? Why they told me to go to karma? Actually, the so-called teachers or leader of material society do not really know the goal of life. They are described here in Bhagavad Gita as Maya Aprita Jnana. They appear to be very learned scholars, but actually the influence of illusory energy have taken away their real knowledge. So that means even they are not clear about what to do. They are also confused. They are also thinking maybe we should do Varnashram only. So then Narada is telling, Prabhupada is telling they are Maya Aprita Jnana. Real knowledge means searching for out Krishna. You see? So it's very clear. The purpose is to search Krishna. So if we are directly getting it, Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvata Samplupodike Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmana Srijan. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Are, you are going for different wells for different purposes. But if you have a big river flowing besides your village, then all the purposes are accomplished. Similarly, if you know the purpose, then you know why you are doing it. What is the purpose? Real knowledge means searching out Krishna. Vedescha sarve rahameva vedya. And this is the purpose. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavya najatuchit. Sarva vidhi nishedashu yetayor. All the rules and regulations are to make us remember Krishna. So all Vedic knowledge is meant for searching out Krishna because Krishna is the origin of everything. Janmadhyasya. Krishna says, Aham Adirhi Devanam. So Vedic ritual ceremonies are concerned for satisfying different demigods. But unless one is very advanced, he cannot understand the original personality Sri Krishna. Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. Govindam. So after hearing these instructions, King Prachin Varsha therefore decided to reject the so-called priestly order that simply engage their followers in ritualistic ceremonies without giving effective instructions about goal of life. So this is the problem. So even if somebody is telling in other sampradayas to follow, the purpose of them to tell is to help them control their mind only. There is no other purpose. To make them focus on Krishna, to help them understand who is Krishna. So everything is in that direction only. And Prabhupada, at present moment, the churches, temple, mass all over the world are not attracting people because foolish priests cannot elevate their followers to the platform of knowledge. Not being aware of the real goal of life, they simply keep their congregation in ignorance. Consequently, those who are well educated have become uninterested in the ritualistic ceremonies. So, this is actually what is happening. So, they are just this karma mentality is ritualistic ceremony. All this Varnashrama problem comes because of the karma mentality only. They are uninterested in. So at the same time, they are not benefited by with real knowledge. This Krishna conscious movement is therefore very important for the enlightenment of all classes. Following in the footsteps of Maharaj Barhishman, everyone should take advantage of this Krishna conscious movement and abandon the stereotype ritualistic ceremonies that go under the grab of so many religions. So this is how Prabhupada is helping us to come out of this karma mentally. Stereotype ritualistic ceremonies that go under the grab of. So this is all ritual. See, ritual without spirit is with spirit is spiritual. Otherwise, it just remains a ritual. The Goswamis from the very beginning differed from the priestly class that are engaged in ritualistic ceremonies. So people go to temple. Now today Vaikuntha Ekadasi, so many rituals happen. So priestly class, they are engaged in ritualistic ceremonies. That's all. Indeed, Sanatana Goswami compiled his Haribhakti Vilas for the guidance of the Vaishnava. The Vaishnavas not caring for the lifeless activity of priestly class take to full Krishna consciousness, become perfect in the very life. That is described in the previous verse as Paramahamsa Sharanam, taking shelter of Paramahamsa, the liberated soul, and becoming successful in this life. So, this should be done. This is the way it should be done. Samshayo atra tu me vipra sanchinnastat krito mahan Rishyopihi muhyanti yatra nendriya virtayaha. It says that, my dear Brahmana, there are contradictions between your instructions, those as my spiritual master who engage me in fruitive activities. I now can understand the distinction between devotional service, knowledge, and renunciation. I have some doubts about them, but you have now very kindly dissipated all these doubts. I can now understand how even the great sages are bewildered by the real purpose of life. Of course, there is no question of sense gratification. So, this is a very important point. He says that I had some doubts about them, but you have all kindly dissipated. I can now understand how even great sages are bewildered. You see? So, our bewilderment is not a surprise. King Barishman was engaged in different types of sacrifices. See? For elevation to higher plans. So, he was doing sacrifices. He is doing Vedic sacrifices. But people generally are attached to these activities, and very rarely is a person attached to devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed. Unless one is very, very fortunate, he does not take to devotional service. Even so-called Vedic learned scholars are bewildered by devotional service. They are generally attracted to results of sense gratification. So why we should take their authority? So in devotional service, there is no sense gratification, but only transcendental loving service to the Lord. Consequently, the so-called priests engaged in sense gratification do not very much like devotional service. The Brahmanas, the priests, have been against this Krishna conscious movement since it became with Lord Chaitanya. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this movement, the priestly class loaded complaint to the Qazi, the magistrate of the Mohammedan government. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to lead a civil disobedient movement against the propaganda of the so-called followers of Vedic principles. Whom he is fighting with? He is fighting with Vedic people only. All the Dharma people only is fighting. It is clearly said. Who are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's enemies? Qazi was not bothered. He is just who is bothered? This priestly class are loaded complaint to Qazi. Then Qazi came into picture. Otherwise, he is busy with his own management. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to lead disobedient movement against the propaganda so-called followers of Vedic principles, and now all the people are so-called followers only. These people are described as karma jada smarthas, which indicate that they are priests engaged in ritualistic ceremonies. It is here stated that such people become bewildered. Raso pihi muhyanti. To save oneself from the hands of these karma jada smarthas, one should strictly follow the instructions of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. So Krishna is very clear. Arey, forget about all these things. You come to me, I'll take care of you. कर्माण्यरब्धेते येन पुमान् इह्य विहायतम् अमृत अमृतान्येन देहेन जुषतां स यदाश्नुते. The results of whatever a living entity does in this life are enjoyed in the next life. So Prajni Barshi is telling a person engaged in a purpose, right? A person generally does not know how one body is linked with another body, how it is possible that one suffers or enjoys the results of activities in this body in at another body in the next life. This is a question the king wants Narada Muni to answer. How many how many how may one have a human body in this life and not have human body next? Even great philosophers, scientists cannot account to the transfer of karma from one body to another as we experience. Every individual soul has an individual body, and one person's activity or one's body activities are not enjoyed or suffered by another body or another person. The question is how the activities of body are surfaced or enjoyed in the next. So this is the question that is asked. And iti veda vidan vada shruyate tatra tatraha कर्म यत् क्रियते प्रोक्तम प्रोक्षम न प्रकाशते. The expert knowers of the Vedic conclusions say that one enjoys or suffers the results of his pious activities, but practically it is seen that the body that performed the work in the last birth is already lost. So, how is it possible to enjoy or suffer the reactions of the work in different body? Very interesting question. I did something in this body, and why should how can I enjoy or experience pleasure or pain next body? so so the expert says Vedic says that one enjoys or suffers the results of his past activity, but the question is the body that performed that work is already gone, last birth only. So how is it possible that I am doing in this life, in this body? Why? So atheists want evidence. So this is the point. Atheists want evidence for the resultant actions of past activities. Therefore, they ask, where is the proof that I am suffering the enjoyment and the result of actions of past karma? They have no idea how the subtle body carries the results of present body's action down to the next gross body. The present body may be finished grossly, but the subtle body is not finished. It carries the soul. So, how I am suffering? Because we have two bodies. So, pleasure is not just for the body, pleasure is for the mind also. And mind enjoyed in this life, so it will suffer in the next life. It's like that. Or it is did good activity this life, so it will enjoy in the next life, like that. So therefore, the next gross body must suffer and enjoy according to the settled body. That's all. So this is the answer. Next gross body suffers. The soul is carried by settled body continuously until liberation from the gross material bondage. So liberation means you are free from the settled body. Then you can consider liberation. So Narada is going to answer. He says that the great sage Narada continued, the living entity acts in the gross body in this life. This body is forced to act by the subtle body composed of mind, intelligence, and ego. After the gross body is lost, the subtle body is still there to enjoy or suffer. Thus, there is no change. That's all. So, he directly answered this. A living entity has two kinds of body, subtle and gross. Actually, he enjoys through the subtle body. You see, this is which is composed of mind, intelligence, ego. The gross body is instrumental outer covering, right? Main enjoyment. Not that body don't enjoy, but the more enjoyment is from the subtle body. Body also enjoys in the sense when I am eating, the tongue is experiencing pleasure. The hands, when you uh, there is some like some yoga or something you do, hands are little relaxed, and no, legs are also having some pleasure when they are walking in the nice garden or something. And when you hear, you see, so karmendriyas, gyanendriyas, they also have some experience of pleasure. When the gross body is lost and when it dies, the root of the gross body, the mind, intelligence, ego, continued and brings about another gross body. So that's how it happens. Some modern scientists and philosophers are too materialistic, and since their knowledge is taken away by illusory energy, they cannot explain how the gross body is changing. So Darwin, he wanted to now. How can you explain honeybee? How can you explain any small mosquito for evolution? It's so difficult. Even Darwin didn't know. He just speculated something. No, honeybee goes from one flower to another flower, very delicately collects the honey, and then it makes this honey. Which industry we can make honey? What type of we have to suck the from the plants? So it is not possible like that. No? It's so complicated. Everything is, it take almost collects from thousands of flowers to get one drop like that. So honeybee is collecting it. How much hard work it is doing and collecting that honey. It's the same thing. We are doing so many our evolutions. People are talking about it, but they cannot explain only. Even Darwin could not explain how the such a complicated thing of retina can be come from evolution. He is also confused because it did not come like that. So Darwin had tried to study the changes of body, but because he had no knowledge of either the subtle body or the soul, he could not clearly explain how the evolution process is going on. One may change the gross body, but he works in the subtle body. People cannot understand the activities of subtle body, and consequently they are bewildered as to how the actions of one's gross body affects another gross body. So the activities of subtle body are also guided by the super soul. Sarvasya chaham hiti sannivishto mattasmritir jnanamapohanam cha. So even the body that is the Lord is guiding, and he is deciding. So I took so much on karma many times. I'll not touch that topic. I discussed it many times. If you have any questions, we can take. But living entity while dreaming gives up the actual living body. Through the activities of his mind and intelligence, he acts in another body, either as a dog or a god. After giving up this gross body, the living entity enters either an animal body or a demigod body or a plant. He does enjoy the results of his action. So the same point he's trying to explain. And Prabhupada says that although the root of distress and happiness is mind, intelligence, and ego, the gross body is still required as an instrument for enjoyment. So we need this God. So Prabhupada writes, unless the living entity gets another gross body, he will have to continue in the subtle body or a ghostly body and becomes a ghost when the subtle body acts without the help of instrumental gross body. Uh, Shanam imam utsrija swashtanam. The gross body may lie on the bed and rest. Even though the machinery of the gross body is working, the living entity may leave go into a dream and return to the gross body. So we in the night now we can leave our body and go and come. The soul has that powers. We are traveling and coming also sometimes, but we don't know. That is so when he returns to the body, he forgets his dream. Prabhupada is writing very clearly. We are all traveling in dream. Yeah, as stated in this verse. So I don't know how it means. The soul has so many extraordinary powers. So you can remember this. The gross body may lie on the bed, and even though the machinery of the gross body is working, the subtle body, uh, the living entity may live, go into a dream, and return to the gross body. When he returns to the body, he forgets his dream. Similarly, when living entity takes another body, forgets the present body. So the conclusion is that the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego created an atmosphere, desires and ambitions that the living entity enjoys in the subtle body. Actually, the living entity is in the subtle body, even though the gross body apparently changes, and even though he inhabits the body on various planets. All the activities performed by the living entity in the subtle body are called illusory because they are not permanent. Liberation means getting out of the clutches of subtle body. Liberation forms the gross body, simply involves the transmigration of the soul. So, when the mind is educated in Krishna consciousness, higher consciousness in the mode of goodness is transferred either to upper planet. So, you see, the transmigration is because of the change in consciousness. Higher consciousness, higher planets. More higher consciousness to the spiritual world, like that. So, therefore, he has to change his consciousness by cultivating knowledge received from Vedic instructions. So, since Vedic instructions are Varnashram instructions at one level, but more than that is at a devotional level. If we train the subtle body in this life by always thinking about Krishna, we will transfer to Krishna Loka. See, Varnashramana, they are at the four levels. To have a peaceful mind, healthy society, and healthy body also. So, to have a healthy body, peaceful mind, good relationship, and harmonious society, we need Varnashrama. That means it's mode of goodness only. It is elevating a person's consciousness. But to gain spirituality, we need something more. So, we'll take this in last one verse. Mameti manasa yadyad asamyaham iti bhruvan गृह्णीयात् तत् पुमारार्धं कर्म ena punarbhavah. The living entity labors under the bodily concept of I and I am this, I am that, my duty is this, and therefore I should do it. These are all mental impressions, and all these activities, all these are temporary. Nonetheless, grace of Supreme Personality of God, the living entity gets a chance to extend all his mental concoction. Thus, he gets another body. So, this is important thing that we have to come out of this mental concoctions. So, we'll discuss on this tomorrow. We'll end here. If you have any questions, comments, we'll take here. This point I'll elaborate on mental concoctions. Nice point. We'll take it tomorrow. Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, every time this word ashram, Prabhu, it comes in our discussion, Prabhu, and we also understand that the word ashram helps in keeping a person in mode of goodness, which is one way which is helpful for practicing devotional service. So, what is
Yeah.
actual stand, Prabhu, with regard to word ashram? Whether, I mean, for keeping ourselves in mode of goodness, I mean, should we go for this, or it is just a discussion and just leave it aside, and in whatever situation we are, just go ahead and whether we are keeping ourselves in dark by in whatever situation we are there, and just practice direct devotion service, and Krishna will take care, or we should take help of this word ashram. I mean, I'm not very clear what to do.
No, no. What is the purpose, Prabhu? First, you should know what is the purpose of Varnashrama. That is my point. Say, if you know the purpose, say, if you have a, if you have, you want a knife, you want a cutter, you want a peeler, and you want all these things so that you can cut the vegetables. But if you give a multi-purpose some knife for you, all the purpose are served. Then you don't need to purchase all these things. Now, you have one knife; it is doing everything. So if you know the purpose, why I need a knife, why I need a peeler, why I need a cutter, why I need a grater, if you know the purpose of it, then and I am telling Proji, I have an instrument which will do all the five activities, then you don't need all these things, right? So what is the purpose of Varnashrama that should be understood first? Whether to do or not, later you think. First,
But
if
here,
you are not knowing what is the purpose, what is the point of doing it?
Mhm. But here purpose, it seems that Varadasam purpose is to keep person in mode of goodness. That it looks like it helps in keeping individual in mode of goodness, and which is helpful in practicing bhakti. So whether to use this as a tool or not to use, that's question.
Nah, so that my point is, if it is helping us to come to mode of goodness, that all the activities which are helping us to come in mode of goodness, we can accept it. That is not a
Mhm.
problem. Because if you are clear with the purpose, then it is not varnashrama. It is the you to come to mode of goodness. So that is the main purpose. So and any activity that helps you to come to mode of goodness, you can accept it.
Right,
Because it is anukul for bhakti, you can accept it. So then where is the question that I have to do this or not? If it is
right.
helping bhakti, do it. If it is
Mhm.
helping you to bring to mode of goodness, do it. That is one purpose. Second purpose is to develop gratitude. So we need to develop gratitude so that that is also the purpose of varnashram. Now, by doing bhakti, are you developing gratitude or not?
Yes, 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 yes.
So now when you have to express your gratitude to your ancestors, to the forefathers, and you have to express your gratitude to all the devatas and the bhutas and all these living entities. Whoever is helping, we have to express gratitude. By practicing bhakti, is your gratitude increasing or decreasing?
Yes, it is increasing.
So that is the point. So there, anything we are taking from the society or family and anything, we have to pay back. So the payback method is in Varnashrama is you have to do all this uh, proper what do you call uh, sacrifices and all. Agnihotra every day you have to do pancha yajnas and all, so that you express your gratitude. Without acknowledging, if you take, you are committing sin. It is papa. Like if I, why we have to pay tax to the government? Why we have to like if anything is taken from anything? What is the first lesson parents teach to the children? My dear son, please say thank you. So they are telling to thank. Why? So that is a gratitude that is to be taught. So Varnashrama teaches gratitude. Bhakti also teaches gratitude. So the purpose is served. You are not taking any sinful activity. You are not taking anything for granted. You are paying it and taking it. You are acknowledging and taking it. That's all. So we have to
Right.
acknowledge our the purpose is to learn this gratitude. So directly doing bhakti also you develop the gratitude because you see the connection of see what happens is if things are given, we think I am entitled for it. When we are told, "Arey, it does not belong to us," we are just as a caretaker. So when it comes to Varnashrama, they are very strict about it. Okay, this is belongs to Brahmanas. This is for the our duty as a Kshatriya. This is for Vaishya. So they are very strict about it, so that their ego is very proper. and they are properly developing that cultured
Lost
life.
the voice cut.
Oh, now you're able to hear. You're able to hear, Prabhu? No. Hello. You are able to hear, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You are able to hear. Okay. So we have to know the purpose. See, first purpose is to develop gratitude, to develop respect, to develop goodness. All these things are accomplished by following the principles of bhakti directly. So if purpose is there, then no need to separately do. But some things which are favorable, we accept it. That's all. So you tell Shraddha we have to do. Arey, now what we do in Acharya's appearance and disappearance day, we do the same thing. We cook bhoga for them, we offer to them, and we chant and we offer pushpanjali to them. What is pushpanjali and offering bhoga to Acharyas on their appearance and disappearance day? And that is the way we are celebrating the Shraddha. That is the way we have to do it for Vaishnava way. Basically, now when what you do in the Shraddha ceremony, you chant some mantras to please the Lord, call the Brahmanas, and feed them prasadam. Now, what we are doing, if you want to do express your gratitude to your ancestors, you call devotees, chant kirtan, and feed them prasadam. Will it not accomplish the purpose? Ultimately, you have to
Yes, yes.
feed brahmanas and chant the mantras. Now, is there any more powerful mantra than Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Right, bro, right.
You are chanting the mantra, you call the Vaishnavas to home. On the behalf of your ancestors, you feed them prasadam. Will it not accomplish a purpose?
Yes,
Is
yes,
it?
yes.
So then done, na? You do it on any Shraddha day. Call the Vaishnavas, feed them prasadam, do kirtan, do some nice things. Finish. They will get benefited. And you pray to Lord on behalf of my ancestors. I am doing it. So know the purpose and do it. Then you'll not have any loss because you know how to do it. Uh, Now, you instead of calling a ritualistic Brahmana coming and doing Shraddha, you call devotees who chant very sincerely, pray to the Lord for your ancestor, and take prasadam and go, which is benefiting to calling a materialistic Brahmana who is just interested in money and remuneration, or calling some pure Vaishnavas who are doing proper kirtan for the pleasure of Lord and taking prasadam and going, which will benefit your ancestor, which will more reach the Lord. Ultimately, they should
Of
get.
course, devotees. Of
Uh,
course, devotees.
so then, why Shraddha then? Do
Mm.
na this.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Very, very much clear, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Done.
So since Ekadasi we are doing tomorrow. Uh, yeah, we are doing tomorrow. But today is Vaikuntha Ekadasi for outsiders. So we are all going to temple and taking darshan. That's all. You can go to some Vishnu temple for darshan. But otherwise, it is tomorrow only for us. But because today is outsider also, so you can take today also Ekadasi Prasadam and tomorrow also you can do. So we get double benefit. We can do today also, tomorrow also. So that is the advantage we have. 2 days we can do Ekadasi and get double benefit. Okay. Any other questions, comments? I will take more discussion on this Varnashrama. I have some more points to share to make it more clear. And to this one point, if you ask this question why, then you get why I have to do, then you get answers very clearly. No, we should not ask how. We should ask why. Scientists also know how. They don't know why. Why question is very important. Why I should do it? If this is not asked, na, then you always get, Arey, they are doing, we should not do. Why we should not do? Arey, why we should do? Not that because they are doing. We should know the purpose behind doing it. Okay, thank you all very much. Hmm. Hare Krishna.